Welcome to a special episode of The Rich Effect Anime with Mama Roach and Felix. Today feels appropriate to talk about our topic of discussion, and that is solo leveling. I caught up on the last three episodes. They were already just needing the last episode. So we're going to talk about it as a whole, season 1 and 2. I got to say, I've really enjoyed it as a whole. I want to also say that I've enjoyed reading it more.
I can see that.
As for me and Felix, we've read everything that's out so far that I believe manhwa wise, right? Have you done Ragnarok yet?
I'm current.
Okay. I haven't done Ragnarok yet. So I'm current with just solo level. Season 1 to me was a masterpiece. I thought they laid a prequel to the prequel of the universe.
Yes.
Because we are still just getting into the thick of it. So we're still very much beginning.
I liked season 1. There were some things I wish they would have included, but
I agree. But that's with anybody that's read it.
Right.
well, I also didn't. I get why they did it. I would have preferred they hold off on the Jeju stuff.
Oh, from season 2?
No, in season 1. They start the show with Jeju information.
But that's how the manga starts too.
It does not.
No, the manga, the actual physical books.
Manga does not start telling you about Jeju until at least 10 chapters in.
Because it's the past
It gives
that they're
it on,
showing.
The only references to Jeju Island are when you meet characters involved with that have like trauma involved with Jeju Island.
Give me a
Which
second.
doesn't happen until he's well past his low level arc.
I can see where that comes into play.
It's just for me, it's like it's a big tease that like a lot of people want, but it doesn't really help the story much. And you could have used that to like, build up the roster a little more. Yeah. I can get the book faster than he can.
You're right. You're right.
Well, it's like I haven't read the books or the mangas or the manga.
These are the 6 Ion.
You're right. And I'm up to 11.
I think that you're done. You've bought up to 11.
Right. 12's coming out in May. So, animation style.
Yeah, in the manhwa, they start with he's on his deathbed of the
Right.
double season. And then we get his backstory. Pages.
Which is why I just went and grabbed it.
We recommend the books. They're great.
Yes, definitely. And that's one thing, if for anybody that is going to be watching this episode, that is waiting for season 3, I recommend either reading the manhwa off of is it Tapas? Which app is it that Solo Leveling's on?
I think they're on all of them.
Well, it's not on the Toonie one. It is Tapas. Okay. Mom's in the shop. But I definitely recommend reading it in any of the forms. So literature is for the light novels. You're going to get the most lore for physical copies. The manhwa or the manga. And I'm getting a lot of feedback this time. Like I'm hearing an echo of my.
Yeah, I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it on my side too.
How about now?
No, not now.
Okay, it's because the way I was holding.
It was the way you had the phone.
Yeah.
Okay. So technical difficulties at the beginning. Sorry about that.
Okay. Now I can just hold it.
You want me to get you a stand so you can go hands free?
I just don't want to.
Look, Mom, no hands.
No, I like using my hands.
Oh, I love using my hands just as much as I love using my mouth. But that is not Solo Leveling at the moment.
Off topic. Get back onto topic.
Yes. So, season 1, we are introduced to this world. One thing that I loved about this show so far, season 1 and 2, is how
Excuse me.
the dubbed voice actor tried to match tone, not necessarily pitch, but the tone of how he speaks and deals with all the aspects in this universe to the sub voice actor. Like if you do a comparison, like if you watch them in like Comic Cons and they're sitting there talking and you can hear them that they sound very different, and then when they're doing the voice, they're almost identical in tone, not necessarily pitch.
I can see that. I can see that because the last 4 episodes we watched in sub, not dub. So yeah, I can see it.
I believe I've only seen season 1 dubbed. No, I've watched people react to season 2 dubbed.
I think when the next season comes out, I will be probably watching it in sub instead of dub.
It is.
I think it's better.
I am patiently impatient. I want to watch it immediately, but I can also wait for the next episode.
So
Right.
earlier when I was talking to Meg, I just read something that kind of it peeved me a little. And after season 1 was over and they announced season 2, they also announced that they were going to be doing 6 seasons for what is currently out of just Solo Leveling without getting into the Ragnarok part of it. And then
Ragnarok is a spin-off, so.
Huh?
Ragnarok is a spin-off. So.
Right, very much so, and I don't really want to delve into that because I haven't read it. But one of the creators from A1 Studio for I believe animator or how they're adapting it from the written to going on screen, said that this might be the end. That they're not
Uh,
sure if they're actually going to make a season 3.
I don't know how accurate that post was because I know season 3 was already announced.
Right. For
I
next
believe,
year.
yeah.
Yes, I know. But that's where it's like I have this little pet peeve. It's like they got everybody's hopes up and go, okay, we have this to look forward to after season 2, and then they're like,
No,
oh, we might not be doing it now.
no, Derek. What I mean is, I don't think that post was real.
Did you watch the interview? She said what was on that post.
Oh, then I don't know. I just know that a lot of people were talking about it, and they're like, that doesn't really make sense if season 3 was already announced.
Right. I can understand them saying it's done for now because they're in the production of making season 3 and
Oh, that
then
was the other part. That season 3 was already in production. They're already
Because they're
animating it
already in,
for next year.
yeah, and so far as I was tracking up until that post was they're already halfway through production of season 3.
It might just be someone who doesn't know everything current with that side of the department. Could be someone higher up is like, I don't really like it. I want to cancel it. I want to try to put a message out so we can try to cancel it.
Right.
You never know.
Never know. But it kind of
The
it was
studio could also be
irritating.
struggling,
It was
or they might.
irritating because it's like it's really successful right now, and it's definitely overshadowing other animes that are like just as good.
I would say more it's overshadowing a lot of anime airing at similar times.
Right. Right.
But I also know that, unfortunately, there are a lot of fans of the manga and books that don't like the
The
anime.
show. Yeah. And so far I've loved every aspect of this universe that I've read it on my phone. I'm collecting the physical mangas. I've loved the way that they've animated what is put on paper. Um, I think they've done a beautiful job, and we are going to get definitely more into that when it comes to like the action sequences of certain boss fights, because I know that's going to be a topic of discussion later on in this um, episode that we're doing. Season 1, though, I feel didn't go too fast, but almost to the point where it was like they could have added a little more lore to what's going on in season 1, so to speak. You know what I mean?
yup.
But at the same time, it's like I'm in my mind going, I've read this, and they really don't give a lot of the lore until later on anyway. They give enough to make you go, okay, this is what's going on. And then the other day, Felix, you brought up how some people are comparing it to Hunter x Hunter.
Yep.
And I don't agree with that one either. Yeah, people are comparing, or not comparing, but saying that Solo Leveling is like a modernized remake of Hunter x Hunter. For Solo Leveling? But you have to look at how long Hunter x Hunter's been out too. But like The only similarity that they have is hunters.
Ants.
Oh, and ants. That's it.
And
Hunters and ants.
them dang ants.
The only similarity in the ants to Hunter x Hunter is specifically, I mean, spoilers if you haven't watched the finale for season 2 yet. Biru, who has a similar ability that all of the ants possess, or technically the queen possesses in Hunter x Hunter.
So this is going to go off on to a little side distraction, but me and Twyla, we restarted Aphoretta last night because season 3 is going to be coming out here in the next couple of months. So I was like, I'm rewatching, having it fresh in my mind, and as Biru is doing what he does, I'm like, he's just the MC from Aphoretta. Sees dead things, eats it, gets abilities.
He's the MC from Aphoretta. That time I reincarnated as slime.
But you know what I mean? It's like
The gluttony skill is a fucking what's that the one that came out like last year?
Berserker Gluttony.
Yeah, the gluttony thing is a common skill throughout anime.
Yes.
There are a lot of characters that can consume things to gain abilities.
Right.
It didn't. I'm pretty sure it didn't start in Hunter x Hunter.
No,
it's
it
not gonna
definitely
end-
didn't.
It's
It
not going to
didn't.
end in solo leveling.
It definitely
It
didn't.
definitely didn't. Boo had it in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
It just rolls into every different
Well,
series.
A lot of them have different takes on it.
You're right. It's pretty
Like-
much absorption of power and converting it into your own skills.
Like Berserk of Gluttony, they got it from a sword. That time I reincarnated as slime, he got it from reincarnating into another world. It was his special skill. Well, technically it was Predator. He had gained Gluttony later. Basically the same skill.
Right. Just one's in the
Um,
evolved version.
Technically, anyone in Arifureta can get it. You just have to be able to heal yourself
Right.
until you gain the resistance to eat monster flesh. What's booze? You can technically get rid of it if you get the people out of him, but different ways to do it. I think Hunter x Hunter's was the queen could do it, but she doesn't take the ability. She passes them on to her next kin.
Right.
And then no, the Ant King didn't have it. He just had everyone had the ability to just eat human brains and gain strength, but not their abilities.
That's interesting.
Very many different uses of the gluttony skill.
Right. But because
Biru specifically
Aphoretta
I
was
eat
fresh
him,
in
I
my
get other
mind,
shit.
that's like the first thing that it went to.
Like I remember reading it and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." Did not think of any other animes at the time. I was just like, "This ant's awesome." And then he became a warrior. He became Biru, and I was like, "I love him."
Yeah. He holds a special place in my heart.
You will eventually see it. Again, why? You'll start seeing it in season 3. Why Biru is such a beloved shadow soldier.
General. He's a general.
He's the only one that can speak, right?
Yeah, so far.
Yeah.
So far.
It is a special trait of those of the general rank. I mean, technically they can all speak. They can't speak out loud.
Right. It's like the can't
I don't
speak.
know if they'll
Sorry.
animate it. They probably won't. And it's a spoiler for anyone who hasn't read it, but like it's a special little chapter they did in the manhwas. There's a side story that like inside of Jinwu, there's basically an entire world that they all stay in, and like live daily lives while they're not in use, and they just
Oh,
talk to each other
oh.
and train
I
and do
want.
other shit.
Except for the ones that are attached to other people's shadows.
Which book is in that one? In which?
I don't believe it's in any of the books. It was online in the
Oh,
when they were releasing it. There was a
Yeah.
special little chapter where they're like the daily lives of the Shadow Soldiers.
I want to like.
They're like
They need
making
to.
clothes,
They need
training.
to make an episode just for that.
It would probably be towards the end,
Yeah, it would probably be near the end of season 6.
once a lot more of his Shadow Soldiers reach general rank,
Okay.
and a lot of crazy other things happen. But it was a fun little chapter to read. It's like Tusk is like making cloaks for all the mages and training them in spellcraft.
That sounds so awesome.
Biru and some of the other warrior generals are training the new guys. It was just a cute little episode. Like they have lives inside the Shadow World,
Right.
and I was like, it had nothing to do with the story. It didn't reveal anything. It's just like they all live their lives and they all worship Jinwoo.
And then it's TV for it.
And that's
And they
how it
have,
should.
and like Kira said, they all have chibi forms.
Yeah,
So,
you've seen a little bit of it in the beginning of season 2 when like it cuts to Tank and you see the little mages are drawn a little like cuter,
yeah.
and they're like they start celebrating. They're like, yeah. They all have forms like that like they were animated in the manga. That's super cute. And like there's moments where they like Tank again like makes a mistake or goes a little too overzealous, and then he like shrinks down like, I'm so sorry, Master Jinwoo, I'm a little shy boy.
Speaking of season 1, and before he even starts getting the shadows, just his determination.
He was very dedicated.
Once he started understanding the system,
Hmm.
his dedication was like almost to the point of obsession.
Gotta get higher.
Well-
Gotta level up. Gotta level up.
In the very beginning, it's to level up.
Right.
His goal shifts slightly.
Well, it's always to get stronger. Up until
Yeah,
he
but-
saves his mom.
No. When he gets the demon key is when he shifts. Because when he gets the demon key is when he gets the recipe for the elixir of life.
Right.
And which point, getting stronger is just an objective to his goal, which is I can save my mom.
Right.
Yeah, was to get the elixir to get
Mom has now
everything that
become
he
priority number 1 because I think they 10 years. I don't know if she was asleep.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Or no,
something
10
like
years
that.
since Dad died or disappeared.
But he's back.
5 or 7 years.
We're not in season 2 yet.
5 to 7 years, because Dad disappeared 10 years ago, I believe. I'd have it's been a minute since I saw season 1 or read the beginning books, but that rough estimation of what I remember.
I
So-
am going to post in the title that there are going to be spoilers in this because of what
I've been
we're
doing my
talking
best
about.
to throw in a little spoiler warning. Not
Oh
like
no,
we can-
I'm doing it when I post it. It's gonna like the first thing
No.
it's gonna say spoiler warning.
No, I just mean like in before I say things that are spoilers,
Right.
I try my best to say
No, yeah,
for the people who are like, oh, I want to listen to it, but I don't want to hear spoilers.
right.
Sorry. Spoiler.
Well,
You guys
the
are the only one. You guys are the only ones that can do any of the spoiling because you guys have read it.
No,
I
but
still
so
do
so
spoilers,
what?
but
what
it's
so
still
what?
because it just aired today.
Right, but what I'm getting at is, say somebody hasn't watched it and they stumble upon this episode and they like how we're talking about it and they're gonna jump into it. You know, in the
There are
past,
some
so
people
far
who
we've
hate
tried to just
spoilers.
we've tried to leave like major spoilers out of it so people can still enjoy the episodes. But this, with what we're talking about, there will be spoilers because we're not just doing season 1 episode by episode. We're going into season 2 all the way to what aired today.
Right.
So,
We'll also do our best to give you some background context on some of the stuff that happened in season 2, at least,
right.
that wasn't explained very well,
Yeah.
or
Which is
not explained very well, but like they didn't go into the background details of it. They were like, "Here's this thing, and it might confuse you, but we're gonna keep going."
one reason why I recommend
Hopefully, you
reading.
have imagination to be able to fill in the blanks.
I watch people react to Solo Leveling right now, and the theories that they come up with without the background context is hysterical to me.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
My favorite one was when they were watching season 1, and they were like, "Their dad built the system. It's Jinwoo's dad. He built the system." I was like,
No.
"That's hilarious that you think that. That even though the Hunter system's been around for a while, and he disappeared without a trace 10 years ago, and you're like, he built this system for his son."
So I ironically
So
case
somehow I guess
big
he would have
spoiler
known.
alert here for what I'm about to say. Jinwoo's dad is one of the first S rank hunters in Korea. If not the first.
He's not.
No, he's one of the first.
He
He's
was
the
not.
if you Jinwoo's the 10th.
His dad
And
wasn't S rank when he disappeared.
shortly after the gates showed up, Jinwoo's dad awoke as a S rank. He was one of the first, and then he disappears in a gate.
Chairman Go was first. He was too old to be a hunter. He awakened before the gates.
But I said one of the
I
first.
think something like that. But he wasn't S rank when he disappeared.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't. He
And the
was
debate.
chosen to be a something that we won't talk about yet. Someone hasn't gotten there. That is when he became S rank. Because he accepted it.
That's going to be a big part of season 3 and season 4.
I hope they explain it a little bit more.
They'll probably have to show it because it won't make any other sense if they don't. It has a lot to do with the people at the in the finale.
That's after the Monarchs, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
Yes, but they have not technically been named monarchs yet, Derek.
Spoiler alert.
Actually,
I'm just going to go major spoilers. And anybody that's actually read it will understand. And none of this is actually a spoiler.
Right. So only for the people that only watch the show and not reading the
Right.
mangas
Yeah.
or any of the material.
Right. And because I'm recording, I can't just pull up my phone and,
Right. Right. Like,
okay,
dang.
I was right. They didn't put it in his system title. The one monarch who showed up, they say it. Essel says it, but they don't put it in his title
right.
when Jinwoo learns his name. So I'm pretty sure they were purposely avoiding it for season 2. Because I think the connection would have been too big. People would have. It probably would have thrown a lot of people's theories
Out the
closer in the
window.
right direction. No, closer in the right direction.
And it would have also thrown a lot of them out the window.
And say, Megs, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil it for you, so I'm not going to say
No,
it.
she doesn't know what you're talking about. I
No,
can tell you that
I
right
don't.
now.
No.
Okay. I won't even go any further. There's no point in it.
Yeah, we're not going to go
No
any further than that.
spoilers. No, like,
Nothing too big. Nothing too far in the future.
but it's like I have questions about the last episode. So we're just like
We're working our
kinda
way
like,
through
let's-
season
let's-
1, and then we'll
let's
get into
move it
season
along.
2, and we'll get there.
honestly, there's no point really just going systematically. I would just rather answer Meg's questions on it.
Okay,
What she
yeah,
wants to know.
okay. What's your question?
Okay,
Somebody's at the door.
the two at the end
Yeah.
when they go through the portal,
Uh-huh.
they open up that other portal that he goes into. Who are those two?
Those are part of the spoilers we were just talking about.
Okay,
Those are 2 of the said monarchs.
okay. Because I know one of the, like, his dad was walking into the cave because he was the one that was witnessing it.
He was
That's what
spying
I
on him.
assumed. Right. So it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be crazy. It was a good spot to end in.
It was. My favorite part, and the part that I was messaging you guys when I finished the episode and I was like creamed, was it's a very specific part of a chapter when he steps into the red gate.
Yes.
Or he steps into the gate that turns red.
The blue gate.
Yeah, in the manhwa, when shortly after he enters it, he summons everyone, and you just see all of his high-ranking guys, and just him walking in between them like a king. And it's
Pretty much how it ended. You know, with him in the
Yeah,
but you
exactly.
just saw the different types of soldiers. You didn't see all his higher-ranking ones.
Right.
There is I'm guessing they'll save it for the first episode of season 3, but there will be a scene where he is just with them as his backdrop, just walking alongside them, and it's chef's kiss.
Yes, I agree.
It was my background for my phone for the longest time. It was just that beautiful. I was like, love it.
So, what did you think or feel on how they kept Cha alive?
Oh, it was awesome.
Because I know
Because I'm like,
I know in the past you were like, they killed her off.
yeah, that's what I assumed. I'm like, oh my gosh, they better not have killed her off. But I'm glad that they didn't, and she's gonna get stronger. She wants to be by his side. That's
Sadly, the hunters can't get stronger.
well,
They can hone their skills.
right. But you know, you don't know because she was on her deathbed, and you don't know if she awakened just like Jinwoo.
No. A reawakening is very specific. It has to be in a gate,
Okay.
I believe. Or at
Well,
least
not
that's
only that, but
that was the lore that they know of a reawakening. There is another way to get stronger that will probably get touched on in maybe the end of season 3, maybe beginning of season 4.
what
Yeah.
I'm getting at as an actual leveling up like Jinwoo does,
Right.
he's the only one
Okay.
out of the hunters.
Okay. But I think she can get stronger. I think if she were to like not necessarily like leveling up, but I believe she can get stronger because you have to think anytime that those guys get hurt or anything, it's going to take time for them to heal.
So what Derek's meaning is that it's not gonna. They can improve minimally. Like you can train your body. You can get a little stronger.
They can hone their
But
talents.
the thing
Right.
that limits hunters is they're limited by their magical power.
Okay.
That's set from when they awaken, unless they reawaken. So they all train. They get
Right.
finer movements, a little bit stronger from working out, better techniques that they
Right.
can use to improve their skills. But they're not gonna like what Bayek, the big tiger guy.
Yeah,
What he sees in Jinwoo with the last time I saw him, he was this strong. He has just now blown what I saw out of the water.
right.
They'll never
Out of
do
the
that.
water.
You'll
Right.
They'll
never
never
see
be able to
that
do
from another
that.
hunter.
Right.
Well, spoilers you can, but it's gonna be way later, and it's a very specific way.
I wasn't trying to get into it.
I know,
No,
but
we're not gonna get into it. We're just gonna leave it at that and just
we're
Uh,
gonna give people hope so that they watch and read and invest
right.
into this so that it continues.
right.
Right. Yeah.
I think in season 2, the fights definitely blew the fights from season 1 out of the water.
Oh yeah.
Um,
What I don't
understand
mean like necessarily animation wise. I mean just how they
with the
went
scale.
about it.
I understand a lot of people's complaints of like the fights are super short,
But they're
and
super
what a lot
short
of
in
them don't.
in the physical content too.
They are super short. Though I don't know the thing I don't think a lot of people understand is Jinwoo is basically a grinder.
Right.
He's not trying to go into places underpowered,
Right.
especially since the double dungeon. It was been his goal to be like, I need to train up
And it gets
so
stronger
that
and
I'm
stronger
never
and
in that
stronger.
situation again. I never want to go in and feel like my life is on the line. Like this could be it.
Right.
Right.
Which up until he goes to Igris is kind of how he had to do it because there was no other way to do it. He was an E rank. They weren't going to send him into places that could level him up
Right.
faster. He had to rely on the system to get him to places that could, get his level up. And he had to take things as the opportunity arose. Season 2, he's grinded up. He's found ways around it. Now he's like, when he goes to places outside of the first red dungeon that he didn't foresee, everywhere else he went, he's like, I'm overpowered, but that's a good thing.
Right.
That's what
Right.
I wanted.
Speaking about
Right.
being overpowered and it being a good thing, the first Red Gate incident that they showed in season 2 when he fights
The ice elves.
the
don't know
ice
his
elves,
name.
yeah. I'm trying to remember his name. It starts with the B, but I'm gonna
The
slaughter
West
his name.
Brother.
It's like Baraku or Baraka or something like that. It's like very, very similar to um the Street Fighter character. You know, the electrical werewolf guy.
Give me a sec. I have the book right here.
But him going, okay, I'm strong. I'm not really having to worry about it, and then not being strong enough to get his shadow out of
Right.
him was like it was his first failure.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm? Yeah, that's after. So, yeah,
My brain's on my first one.
Barca. His name was Barca.
but he really started grinding, so that would never happen again.
Yeah, he was
Right.
very upset.
Very upset. I'd say he was more irate. Like he was pissed.
In
I
my
was
opinion, it was good.
I was actually shocked at how fast they did Tank and Iron. I was kind of hoping that they would have done it in 2 different episodes.
No, I mean, honestly, it's book 4.
They are back to back in the books.
It's from page, what is that, 50?
I didn't grab all the books. I'm not doing that.
From page 50 all the way to about 182. 130 pages. There's not much like that you can kind of like squeeze in there. They tried.
Yeah, they
They
did.
threw in some of the outside stuff, things that were going outside the gate.
Right.
But there's only so long you can kind of prolong it
No,
when there's not a lot
I
of
get that and
material.
agree. And I agree. I just think that in the show it just went faster than what it would have in the books.
I mean, that's literally because you have to flip the page, bud. I mean, when I was reading it online, I was zooming through it. I was finishing chapters in like 20, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But little dialogue, bite, cool. All right, next page.
Yep.
I was limited by the speed of my internet.
And how fast you can
And then also,
Well, you can only scroll so fast where you just can't read shit. It's just a blur.
right. Right, and updates and everything like that. But
I think by the time I hit solo leveling, they were already at the last arc, so I didn't have to wait too long.
so I actually laughed out loud on the episode Are You the King of the Humans? Which is the second to the last episode of season 2. And it's probably only because the anime is kind of fresh in my mind. But when Jinwoo is chasing Biru,
Mm-hmm.
and all you see is his eyes, Jinwoo's eyes and the way he's running, it just reminded me of Sebastian in episode 2 from Black Butler chasing the guys in the car.
You are absolutely right.
The creator of Any News, that YouTube I
Uh-huh.
told you to go check out, Megs.
Yeah.
He did a great point out to me because I didn't catch it. The fight in the anime, the fight is more even than it was in the manhwas.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
In the manhwas, after the poisoning, it's pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah,
Jinwoo is
after the poisoning, yeah, it's pretty much that signed his
like,
the
oh,
death
that's all you
seal.
got? Cool. Also, the thing that they added that I it's been so long since I'd read that arc. In the manhwas, Biru doesn't use any abilities that he's gained.
Right.
Okay.
That's an anime exclusivity that he started using the abilities of the S ranks he ate.
Okay.
In the manhwa, he just fights and then loses. It's all melee brawling, and then he dies by mutilate.
Well, technically, that's how it ended. If you
Yes,
think
but
about
But
it, because he's like,
it was definitely more
"Stop shooting me."
one-sided.
Yeah.
in the manhwas,
Yeah.
in the anime, they gave technically his name is just King, Ant King at the time, but they gave him a better fighting chance.
Right. to make it more entertaining.
But it also shows like how desperate he was in the moment of like, oh fuck.
Run away. Run away.
I
Run
was
away.
one-shotting everyone, not having to do shit, and now someone's before me that it doesn't work on. I'm gonna frantically just spam shit. Oh shit, it's not working. Fine, I'll just go faster. I'll unlock my new form to be pure speed. Shit, he can still catch up to me.
And he's going faster than I am.
It's
Yeah.
a glorious fight.
The manhwa definitely is more one-sided.
Okay.
I'd say.
So
And the next couple arcs, it'll start getting a little more evened out, but also Jinwoo starts taking like his I have shadow soldiers and people know about it. And like I'll just let them do a lot of it for me.
I hope they show a certain side of Biru in season 3.
If they don't, it'll be sad.
It will be very sad. He has an obsession that is not Jinwoo. Yes, he has an obsession with Jinwoo, but he has an outside obsession that just makes him adorable.
okay.
And the reason why it makes him adorable is because of how he uses what he's doing to try to reference Jinwoo, thinking it's going to appease him.
You've seen it
Okay.
in other soldiers.
Huh?
So you've seen it in other soldiers.
Right. But not to the point where it's
I
like,
know, but it's to give you a slight reference. It's like when Iron is collecting the heads to give to Jinwoo, or like lining them up and like, oh look, because technically Igris was doing it, but he wasn't doing it intentionally.
but this is all on entertainment value and not active fighting. What I'm
Right.
talking about.
It was pure entertainment. That's what I felt.
So, okay, big spoiler, unless you've read it. He loves K dramas. And not like modern K dramas.
Back in the day.
Like they're made now, but they're referencing like dynasties, like emperors, and like.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
he absolutely loves them, and he tries to stick with people that he's guarding that are gonna watch those, so he has something to do.
It's a common trope in a lot of isekai animes, where there is a servant or subordinate to the MC who gets access to K dramas and
or
just
mangas in general.
some form of pop culture, and will
Yes,
just self-absorb into it and then start emulating the behavior they see or read.
but it makes
This is
him so adorable.
Yeah.
the more
All I know
famous
is
one
that
is
when I come to visit D, I need to read the mangas.
Yeah, when you come out, I will definitely, depending on when you come out, I'll at least have one more, possibly 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Like if you guys come out in the summer, I'll only have one new one because I believe volume 13 comes out in August. It's either
Well,
July or August. But
probably won't be until
volume,
next year.
right, so it'll definitely be a lot farther than that.
Right.
Um
let's see.
but speaking of that fight with the Ant King or Biru and Jinwoo, I feel that they kind of so they could actually properly do the fight, unlike how they were writing it out. Was
And it comes out in May.
I know 12 comes out in May. I've said that like 3 times in this episode. You're not fully listening to me, Kira. I said if I believe 13 is coming out in July or August. But that fight, to kind of speed it up, where they were just showing the streaks from their eyes
Yeah.
and not showing blow for blow and everything like that, was a very interesting way to speed up the fight.
Right.
Because it reminds me of a couple of other anime where they kind of do the same thing. Dragon Ball Z is one of them, but instead of showing their eyes, they just show the impacts from like certain punches, where it's like boom, 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 and clouds just disappearing. Then there's Kiriko's basketball, where they had the two main guys from two different teams when they get to a certain point in the game, like that's all you're seeing on the basketball court is the streaks of their hands with the ball, and like you're not seeing actual any movement. And it's
Right.
just it was just one of those things that was just like they are paying so much homage to a lot of different avenues in anime during this fight.
Yeah.
Kind of like them specifically paying homage to Akira Toriyama when Jin Woo was fighting the assassin in season 1, and he's prepping for the fight, and he's just like doing that that toe jump while he's getting ready for the fight, and then
Yeah.
it was just like that's how they promoted Dragon Ball Z Super Broly. For the theater, was like that's what Goku was doing, was just doing that little toe thing. And he's like, okay, I'm ready. It's like,
Yeah.
Well, they also did a Sword Art callback
yeah,
in it's when the A rank leader, when he's being a porter, and they do the final strike on the orcs
right.
before they try to leave. That little like he's slashing through them, and he zooms in his face, and it's like super distorted, and he's like, ah! It was a callback to one of the first couple episodes of Sword Art.
Yep.
Well, technically, they do it like 3 or 4 times in Sword Art, but it was the
But
main callback to the first one.
I'm ultimately super happy with it, though, as a whole. Season 2 and 1. But my favorite fight so far out of both seasons is when he's up against the snake.
Yeah.
Oh, the first boss.
Yeah,
Fight.
his first solo boss,
first-
technically.
Yeah.
Yes, before he can shadow extract.
Right. But just the way they did it and how he was just like being thrown around, and he was like, you know what? If my weapons aren't working, I'm gonna just fisticuffs this, and I'm gonna break him physically.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Exactly.
okay.
He's strong enough.
Well, it
Well,
was
he
at
didn't
that
think
time
he was strong enough because the swords weren't cutting the scales. And then, like,
Right.
he's being like, he's just holding on for dear life. And then he realizes that his fingers are just like crushing that
Yeah.
hard exterior. And he's like, okay, this is how I'm
Well,
going to do it now.
It was in that
Right.
moment he remembered, oh, I've been dumping my skill points into strength.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But to
My
me,
favorite
so
part of season
far,
1, though, will always be when he gets the necromancer class. Because even in the manga, he's like, but I'm trying to be an assassin. I'm trying to be a damage dealer. I'm not a magic guy. I didn't even put any skill points into my MP.
right.
Or I think it's intelligence. I didn't put any skills in there. I've been going strength. I'm a strength
Right.
build. And they're like, But it's a rare class, Jinwoo. He's like, fine.
Now that
For the
is
rare.
that
Just
part
do it.
is great, but as a whole for the fight itself, that
Nah,
first
I'm in it for the comedy, Derek. Comedic gold.
okay, you want comedy for it though? When he is fighting Igris, the red, and he's like, you know what? Fine, I'm dropping my weapons, and Igris is like, cool, here's my weapons. We'll do this honorably, and still manhandles him.
Right.
No, you know for a fact the comedy doesn't come in until later.
Oh,
When you
very
get
much so.
when you
Especially
get to see that fight through Igris's eyes.
major
That's
spoiler
another.
alert.
It's not necessarily spoiler because it's not
No,
part
no,
of the
no.
main
What I'm
story.
about to say is major
Oh.
spoiler alert. One of the funniest shadows for me is Greed.
Yeah.
Because if I remember correctly, Greed is one of the few that remembers his past life.
It's technically true, just because of his rank, but they all get them back when they get to general.
Right.
Slash, when that one thing happens.
Right. But to me, he's the funniest out of all of them.
Nah, Beerus my boy.
Oh no, no, I love Biru, but he's not the funniest, and he's definitely the most loyal.
Nah, dude, you gotta remember when he meets what's his face.
Yeah.
Beerus is the funniest character.
Eh,
I can't
So
remember his
far,
name.
he's good. He's good.
But the one thing that I do love is how they are showing how the Shadow Army is evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like especially the last episode, like they go into that final that gate that turns red, and like they start off blue, and then you can just see that they're just morphing into the purple. You know, like they're
Right.
all just like, okay, we're getting a power up before any of this stuff starts.
Yeah.
Oh, I was wrong. Book 6 ends right before the Beerus fight.
Right.
I thought it ended after. So they are technically into book 7 now.
Yes.
A couple chapters into book 7.
Yes.
Okay.
And season 3 will probably go into book 10 or 11.
I think they might make it to book 9. I don't know if they'll make it to 10 or 11.
If they're trying to get into the Monarchs already in season 3, they're going to get into 10.
Right.
And if they want any of those fights, they're definitely getting into 11.
See.
So it all depends on if they're going to keep the same pacing.
Book 1 or chapter 1 ends at book 3, and season 2 ends just into book 7. So they might touch into 10, but they won't get through 10.
Right.
I'm the Monarch thing is going to take the longest.
And that's all probably going to be season 4.
Well, they'll touch into it in 3.
Right, but they're
Three
the
will
thick of it.
season 3 will be the backdrop, like collecting a lot of the information on the monarchs.
It's that and the giant gates in Japan. Because if I remember correctly, that happens in book 8 or the beginning of book 9.
That is right before the thing we were talking about.
Yes. Yes.
I want to say they would save that for a mid-season 4 cliffhanger.
I am actually glad that they showed one of the strongest S ranks from America in the last episode. When
Well,
they were
it
talking
technically
about
just
how he's because of the video footage of Juju Island that he'll be
he
an
was
international.
he was supposed to be in season 2 for a quick scene.
Yeah, for a quick scene, but he wasn't.
But who wasn't?
Yeah, they cut his part out. He was supposed to be the one right before Goto meets the chairman.
Yep.
He the American S rank guild leader was supposed to be leaving.
Okay.
Something that they cut out is so we've mentioned before that the chairman is he's too old, he can't really fight.
Right.
It's the anime doesn't cover it too well, but he's literally has heart disease at the moment. During the Jeju Island when
I
Jinwoo shows up,
I
he's
believe they
literally
will
having a
cover
heart
that
attack.
in future
Pure excitement.
episodes.
When Jinwoo pops up on the TV, when he breaks the chair in the anime, he's going through a heart attack.
That
There is
makes sense.
supposed to be a doctor behind him going, Chairman Go, you gotta stop watching. You're gonna kill yourself.
Right.
Yeah. But they definitely get more into that later on in the story, though.
I was a little upset they didn't name the S rank from the boat.
Oh, yeah. Uh, orange
I
hair.
don't remember his name. I just know which nation he belongs to.
No.
Yeah, Sword Boy. Twin slash blowing up the entire skyline, boy.
Oh, you're talking about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dual wielder. Yeah.
I don't even think they mention what country he's from.
Nope. I don't even remember his name.
I think
I
it's
don't think they
Zong.
even say.
No. I mean, from reading it, I don't remember his name.
I want to say it's something Jong. Or John, however you want to pronounce it.
All I know
Or
is he
Joe.
reminds
Is it
me
Joe?
of Fei Fong Wong from Xenogears. Just how his aesthetics are.
If his
Not.
name is spelled the way I think it is, I believe it's pronounced Joe. His last name. But he is, I don't remember if he's national or just an S. No, he's just an S. He's the S rank hunter for China. No, he isn't. Pretty sure he's a national rank.
Yeah, I just
Nope.
I just don't remember his name.
Or he's just like Goto and is like just below a national rank. No, I think he has to be a national rank because China's cleared an S rank gate.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, he's basically the top man on the totem pole in China.
Right.
Which is very funny when a very specific scene that will be in season 3. The embassy scene.
Yeah.
Not embassy, the summit scene. It's beautiful. I love it.
There's so much I'm looking forward to.
I mean,
Now
Heavy
to get
spoiler.
get
Don't get excited to get a reunion between Jinwoo and his dad in season 3. It probably won't happen.
no, it definitely won't happen.
Does it
Oh yeah,
happen
no.
in the
No.
It happens in the manga, but it's way later. It's after a very specific scene.
Yes, and where as of volume 11 of these, that scene hasn't happened.
okay?
So it'll be a season 4 thing. Which is why I want to say that the scene we're talking about is like a mid season 4 cliffhanger.
It's possible, but we
Because
kind of
then the next episode will dedicate the backstory to it, and then the episode after that he'll reunite with his dad.
touched on one of the things I wanted to talk about, and it's not a comedy scene. It's one of those heartfelt ones. But the episode that apparently a lot of people hated because there wasn't a
Oh,
lot of action,
the mom scene.
the mom scene. I thought they animated it beautifully.
Yeah,
I think they did it justice. I think that they definitely captured the emotion that they were trying to go for.
I have one gripe. And it's nothing to do with the mom herself. Everything to do with she knows he's a hunter already.
Yes.
In the anime, she wakes up, she gets to the house, and she's like, "Ah, you're just like your dad. You want to save people. That's probably why you became a hunter." In the manhwa, she does not know before the Jeju Island raid.
Okay,
It's also he's not on the rooftop when he goes. He's with his mom.
Yep.
They're watching the raid together.
right.
And then when he realizes something's wrong and that the time delay from the live footage, because they think it's live, but it's actually 10 minutes behind what's actually going on. When he
Hmm.
finally realizes something's going on, he cuts the broadcast at home. Like I forget what he does this specifically, but it basically makes the TV fritz out
Yeah,
and leaves to go save them.
Yeah.
Because and they make it a bigger point of like, yeah, he didn't go to the raid because he wanted to spend time with his mom, and she does not know he's a hunter yet.
right. Okay.
But I did like that the anime. I think the anime did it. No, I don't think it did. I think it was a manhwa thing that did they touch on that he thinks he's different and can't be with his mom and sister?
No.
Okay,
No.
so it was a manhwa thing. In the manhwa, when he gets his mom back, he has a moment of reflection of like, I've killed people. Like
Right.
I've ended
They
lives.
kind of touched on it, but they didn't delve into it the way that the manhwa did.
Okay. I couldn't
Um,
remember how like deep they got into it.
it was just it
Not
was just
very
a
much.
thought. It was just like a thought, and it just like disappeared. Like he's thinking to himself. He doesn't say it out loud.
Well, that's how it happens in the manhwa. The manhwa has like um cutout pages of like him with like a darkness around him, going like, "Oh, I've done shit. I've done unforgivable shit." In his
But
opinion.
in the
Yeah.
anime, they didn't touch on it nearly as much as the manhwa did.
Okay, I couldn't remember that exactly. I mean, at least they did touch it.
Right. It was just like a quick like explorp. You know, it was like,
Like I'll get we can
huh?
sit here and be like, I get aggravated when certain things happen in anime, but at the same time, I can understand it's a limited budget. You can only draw so much,
Right.
and you got to try to tell a cohesive story in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like, I get it that you can't go as in depth as you can in a book
Yeah.
or a manhwa. It
Now,
makes me a little sad at times. I'm like, that was my favorite scene in that.
earlier before this episode was being filmed, I told Megs that the final episode gave me nostalgia vibes.
Yeah. You
When
did.
when they did the end credits and they did the intro
Oh.
song from
They went back to
season
the first
1,
one.
I was like, "Oh, this is we're just getting started." That was the whole vibe. It was like that song was perfect for season 1 to go, "Hey, we are going to be blowing the roof off this mother, and we're gonna just go balls to the wall."
So you know
So
how I just said there were scenes that they cut out, correct,
yeah,
Lance?
Yeah.
The revival of the healer for me was shot for shot what they did in the manhwa.
Okay.
I mean, he was a little more aggressive with the cameraman, but that was about it. He
Yeah.
was a little more like, "You shut that camera off, or I'm crushing it."
but
But other than that, like
I
bringing
like
him
how
back,
he smiled
him
at
immediately.
the. Yeah, I like how he
Him,
smiled at the one guy as he's going away.
it was all
I,
a respect thing.
Hmm.
He was doing what his shadow wanted. He wanted to be revived so he could save Cha. Big huge spoiler there. And then that plea from Bayek was just like he was never a fighter. He hated the battlefield, and it was just like you could tell that Jin Woo was like, I already sensed that, and I wasn't going
Yeah,
to keep him because that is how
right.
they do it in the manhwa. That's how they do it in
ooh,
the manga. It
It
was
I
just
just I just remember something, Derek.
was nice though.
They cut a scene out. Oh no, it'll be in the next one. She hasn't woken up yet. I mean, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. They didn't cut it. You remember what scene I'm talking about?
no. You remind me.
What the healer tells Cha.
Oh yeah, because they don't go into. That's her. Yeah,
She
that's
hasn't woken up yet, so they have. I was like, they cut it. I was like, wait, no,
no. She is
they hadn't
awake.
cut it.
She is awake. She was at
No,
the
no, no.
funeral.
Oh,
I know,
she,
but like it hasn't. They haven't crossed paths again.
Right.
Technically, like it would have been in the episode, but I believe they're gonna save it for the actual part when she tells him in the manhwa.
Yeah.
But it is a beautiful scene in the manhwa of like uh, the healer on his way out when Cha's coming back, essentially from dying. He gives her a message, and it's beautiful. I mean, the message isn't beautiful, but the scene is beautiful.
Right.
I mean, you technically don't know what it is yet either until the later scene when she finally comes across Jinwoo again.
Yeah. All I know is
I remember the gist of the message.
it was one of those French kiss, like our chef's
Mhm.
kiss moments was that the healer because it's like it would have been great for Jinwoo to keep him, but he wasn't going to force somebody that was a hunter that was so respected to be in
Right.
servitude.
Well,
Yeah,
it wasn't just that because they do it a better job of it in the manhwa because they do inner dialogues a lot
Yeah.
more. But they're when he's raising him up, uh, in the process, he literally gets his emotions, and Jun was like, "This guy hates fighting."
Yep.
He literally like absorbs the healer's like emotional state, and
yeah.
he's like, "This guy hates fighting."
If they kind of touch
Yeah,
on it
he
when
just
he's
won't be there.
resurrecting Biru, where he's
Right.
like, "What is this?" and it was all that blackness and everything like that. That was the emotion and everything that Biru was going through,
Feeling.
and that was like the
Right.
one time that they show it. Where in the manga and the manhwa, when they do the healer, you can like they're talking through the whole thing. He's like,
Yeah.
I want to help her. Like he states, it's like I heard his
I heard
essence
his
pretty much
voice.
saying, I want to help her, revive me so I can help her.
Yeah, and then be done with me.
Well, he doesn't say that. It's a
Well, yeah.
it's a part that's gonna come up later
Yeah.
with the message he gave Cha.
Okay.
But yeah, no, they in the manga they do a whole scene of like, it's just kind of where Jinwoo is now. Um, the way his power has grown to a point where like when he makes a soldier when they're higher leveled, he gets all their emotionals, like all their emotions, all their thoughts. But they kind of touched it in season 1 when he first gains shadow extraction and he can hear the moans of the dead.
Yeah.
They don't do it anymore, but like they in the manga they do it a couple times for certain people, but like he can hear recently deceased people, and that's kind of how you can tell like if they're willing or not, and whether he has to force his power to awaken them, or if they'll just like readily come to him. It was a beautiful scene. Like I kind of wish they would have touched on it a little more, but I feel like they were trying to rush the ending of the Jeju Island arc because
Yes.
they skipped over the he raises the Ant Queen. She's like,
Right.
oh, that'll be another super strong soldier, and then she's like, I think the same strength as Tank.
Right.
Tank or yeah, it has to be Tank because Igris and Iron are too strong compared to like she. When he raises the Queen, she's like the same level of strength as Tank, and he's like, but. And he literally talked to Biru like, I thought you guys were similar power leveled. Like she was super strong before she died, and they go on a whole scene of like, oh well, the Ant Queen's half of her power is dedicated to like controlling the ants, and that literally having the Ant Queen be part of his army is making all of the ants have a dual loyalty, one to the Queen and then one to Jinwoo.
Yep.
So he just releases her. He's like, all right, go away. You're not even strong enough to like be worthy of the risk. Not to mention, Biru goes on a whole other tower like, I'm the only one you need. I'll be your best boy. Chile.
Angus beef.
Why does Angus have beef?
Because he's mad, bro. He is mad. He's mad. He's so mad that he's actually yelling at Titus for dropping the N word. Titus said naughty.
Oh. With brains.
That's what we that's what we get. Trying it out.
At some point,
Are we sponsored?
it should be. Oh,
Dude, since moving to Southeast Texas, that's the only chili that we eat. Like everybody in the house likes this chili. It's such a good brand. Up in Oregon, my favorite brand was Denison's, and you can't get Denison's out here, and it's just too expensive to order it. So it was like we
they
went through a
changed
whole bunch.
it.
By the way, viewers, we're not sponsored. I have no idea what they're talking about. It's just beans.
It's just beans.
It's just
I'm not worried
beans.
about a sponsorship. Now, if they want to sponsor, fine. Yay.
Well, no, it's just good practice that if you're gonna like talk
Yeah,
about
show
something, especially if
product.
you're gonna praise it, that you love it, just go ahead and disclose whether or not
We're
you're.
trying it because
I am
if
not.
we
I am
do,
not. I'm not a sponsor of it. I'm not sponsored by them.
no.
If they want to sponsor me, it's like, feel free. It's like,
Well, it's like they don't have that here in Oregon, so it's like we had to Amazon it,
I'm shocked you
and
got it this quick though.
yeah, they both came in today. He overnighted it, I guess.
How much did you guys spend on those cans?
I don't know. I don't know.
Money. Levels of money.
But
trying to
because
remember.
the possibility of moving up there, we have
Who
to
wants to
find a
try it?
chill.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember other cut content.
I
I know.
the last 3 episodes definitely did everything justice.
The one thing I can definitely remember is that Japan's losses weren't as great in the anime. I mean, in the manga compared to the anime, because
Okay.
in the anime there's only 10 S rank and
Okay.
only is it 4 or 5 that are left? 3.
3.
Okay.
I had
In
to
the
look it up
manga,
after watching it. They pretty much stated what was in the manga for um, for the surviving S ranks from Japan. Now, speaking of
there only
Japan,
is there
did
only
you
3
know
left in the manga?
in the manhwa? I think it was 4 or 5, but in the manga, like the physical copies,
It's still a manga, buddy.
um, I I believe, like, if I remember correctly, it was still 3.
I don't remember that many dying. I
Um,
could score only 5
but
plus Goto died.
did you know there's
Out of
3
20.
versions of Solo Leveling's anime?
I did not.
Yeah. So there's the one we've been watching, where it's based in Korea. There's a Japanese one where the whole thing is based in Japan. So because of the the issue Japanese and Koreans have with each other is why they did a special version for the Japanese populace. So Jinwoo's Japanese and what's being aired in Japan instead of being Korean.
So it's propaganda.
And then there's the English dubbed. So there's 3 versions of the anime, and I've been kind of tempted to try to find the Japanese version of it because what we're watching is voiced in Japanese, but I'm talking like where they
Yeah.
changed the story to it being based in Japan. It makes me want to try to find it and see how different it is from the manhwa. So it's like,
It would be so different.
very.
Especially the Jeju Island arc.
That would
Stop
be
trying to
interesting. If you
interrupt.
find it, let me know.
Get straight for that, Dad. Mama, that's me.
I That's why I'm saying
Not close up. They're always talking about
she doesn't listen. She's a
What child
typical
does?
17-year-old.
What child
I
does?
mean,
What teenager does?
to be fair,
She is my daughter.
she gets it from you.
It's not just from him. She gets it from Tyler too. So,
I know, but I hear it more from
I
Twilight
love
and the
all the
kids
Grammy.
about Derek interrupting and not listening. And then being like, oh, my bad.
I love her though.
Oh, so do I, wholeheartedly. But I think we've pretty much covered everything, like all the hot spots and everything that needed to be covered for season 1 and 2, unless you guys can think of anything.
It was good.
Because we've not only talked about the show, we also talked about what was in the manhwa.
Yeah. I think we've covered it. Majority of it.
Yeah.
I do have a question.
I
This
mean-
is a spoiler for anybody that hasn't watched it. What'd you guys think of him hitting level 100?
Well, that was awesome.
I mean, it's an unfair question because only 2 of us know what it means.
Because you guys
They-
have read it.
Yeah,
Well,
we've read it.
they hint at it in a very quick scene of that that gargled message from the system. I don't even know if you pause it on time, you'd be able to make out what it's trying to get the point across to. But me and Derek know what it means.
Okay.
And I guess enough people that remember a specific item he gained would be able to catch on to it.
But one of his items now has a purpose.
If you go back and rewatch all of season 2, you'll get it. You'll instantly click if you keep that thought in your head of like,
Yeah.
oh.
You want it?
Right.
But honestly, that's the great thing about like most TV movies and stuff. Like once you watch it once and you get all the information, you go back with some of that information, like things click into place.
Okay, so I was watching it in sub. It's not like when the dubs come out, I can't rewatch it.
Right. Then I already stated that to Twyla that like once the dubs are out, I'm gonna just rewatch all of season 2 because we watched
Two
all of
in sub.
season 2 in sub.
If
Right.
I'm not mistaken, up to episode 10 is already dubbed.
Right, but I'm gonna just binge it. I'm gonna just
No, I know. I'm just saying it'll probably be 3 weeks from now
right.
when it'll be finished dubbed.
Right. Right. So I got time.
Yes.
Or do you?
I don't know. Maybe.
Or
They just
Oh,
pull
no,
something
my
out of their
daughter
ass.
said
They're like, "Oh, 3 episodes up now, go."
won't get into that. We're recording.
Let's say
It's a different podcast. Not on this anime.
right. You mean our general discussion podcast where we talk
Yeah.
pretty much about everything?
hey, general
That's not
discussion is more
anime?
fun.
He's like, what? You guys do what? I want to be a part of it.
No, so I was calling this a general discussion.
Oh.
And Derek was like, "Yeah, where we talk about other things besides anime."
Yeah, it's literally everything that's not anime.
Talk about anime.
Not really. But like the other podcasts, we cover movies, we cover health, we cover, all that other
Okay,
stuff.
there
So
was another podcast. I didn't know.
yeah,
Meg was saying she wants to be a part of your other podcast.
Oh,
I
I
mean, if
already
you
am.
want to be,
Oh,
if you want to be, you can.
Talking about you.
I didn't know. I don't mind. I got nothing but free time other than I really need to catch up on a lot of homework.
Which you
Oh, you
should
should
do.
probably do that.
But I don't wanna.
But I think we covered pretty much everything for solo leveling as of right now. For the anime, I mean, we could definitely go a lot longer if we just delve into the lore and the manhwa. But
I'm just
that would
waiting for the people I react to, or like the
I
people.
think I would
Yeah.
have it just be YouTube for that part, for like that podcast. If you guys are going to be talking about the books,
no, because just like what we were discussing the last time, if me and Felix watch a show that you're not really interested in, we'd still want you to be involved so you can hear what
Right.
we're talking about and then make an educated decision and going, yeah, I want to watch it, or no, I'm still gonna pass.
right?
But
I'd say because I talked about it with Derek the last time we talked. It was just that it's always nice to have someone who's not like wholeheartedly into it like we are. Someone who's like, well, I don't like those because of these things. Like you have your reasons for not watching certain animes, and those
Right.
opinions are valid and they should be heard by other people because it will get them and be like, oh, so other people are like me, and maybe they can direct me to animes that I will watch.
Right. Well, it's like the other day with yesterday about Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
How I was
well,
never into Sailor Moon. I'm more into male, like male dominant
Mm-hmm.
shows. Like that's just a preference. But if you get me one that is a female lead, I have to sit down and like, okay, focus. But Sailor Moon was not on
I have the
any of my
perfect one for
radar.
you to watch right now. Then,
Okay.
I'll after we're done filming I'm a guild receptionist, but I'll solo any dungeon boss, so I don't have to work overtime.
That's a long title. Okay, you're gonna have to go into
Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll and start it for me. Oh, okay, there
Yeah,
it
the
is.
main character is a female, and yes, she does pretty much
And
do what the title says.
I am now on episode 7 of I Got a Cheese Kill.
Nice.
So,
So, if you want to start talking about that, or are you going to finish it?
I'm not sure yet. Well, I'm trying to get through it.
Okay.
So,
That's one of those that I hate and I love at the same time.
It's a love hate. I'm super
I can see
excited
why.
for season 2. I'm super excited for season 2.
So, no, the 6th episode, it kind of went sub. So I was kind of distracted, but it was like I could still hear it.
Yeah.
But I would be looking up, and it's like, okay, I understand. And it was like, okay, I get it, even with what I read
Yeah.
because of the subtitles. Gotta
So one
get
of these days
my
we're gonna have
reading
to
in.
do a whole podcast on like why both arguments of choosing only dub or only sub is ridiculous.
Right. We could do one of those episodes one of these days, whenever you guys want. But
I say
I
that
am
next
going
because it is
to
a huge point of contention in the anime community.
end our episode, not our call, but I'm going to end our episode of talking about solo leveling. So, thank you guys for joining me on the discussion, and I value both your guys' insights. Not just because one is from a newer watcher and one is from my brother from another mother, but he is also my memory. When I don't remember, he remembers. So it's like, I love you both, and we are signing off on this episode.